Kyle Palmieri is so 2 years, 475. If you haven't seen it for whatever reason, and then the modified or the full no trade, and then a 16-team no trade in year 2.
Why? Like, I don't understand. It's very much a Lou thing to do, but I'm sure everyone at home is saying the same thing. Why, in the name of God, are you giving Kyle Palmieri that kind of trade protection at his age? You shouldn't need to. You should have learned from that. Look at Varley. Great player, great servant of the Islanders as well during his tenure, but you can't move from that contract because he's got a 16-team no trade list on it.
Right, so you could veto where you potentially send them. Like, maybe this worked out for the better, but like Brock Nelson in Winnipeg.
Yep. Yeah, like you just remove options because at this point, you're not going to be making a trade. Let's say you're interested in trading Kyle Palmieri. You're not trading him for more assets. You're trading it to get rid of the contract at some point. So you don't care where he goes, or you shouldn't really. But now you've removed that possibility because reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole contract, I think, is a little strange. And to me, my initial reaction, I don't know if I did a good enough job of explaining why it bothered me. And it was not necessarily so much about the $4.75 million for what Kyle Palmieri gave you the last couple of years. For me, it's more about how I think it limits what you're able to change in this forward group, right? Because you have Palmieri is going to be locked into a middle six role. You have Simon Holmstrom, who's a lefty but plays on the right side, is also in the middle six. You have Siplikov. You have who's you going to bring back? Duclair. Like, you got to decide what you're doing with Pierre Engvall. Like, I'm not even saying like that Engvall's going to be on the team. Like, you can just waive him and no one's going to pick him up and you send them to Bridgeport or whatever. But you're running out of spots. You have like 10 or 11 forward spots pretty much already locked in for next year at this point. And that's including Cal Ritchie too, by the way. But still.
Exactly, who we think is going to be making the jump up. So you're right. Like, the 475 is an okay-ish number when you consider the context of like the cap going up a whole heck of a lot, the fact that he scored 54 goals over the last 2 years and hasn't missed a game. Like, he was probably going to get something like this from someone else out there.
And I get it. The easy reaction is, well, he was your third leading scorer from a year ago, and where are those goals going to come from? And that's a fair question, but that's a question that I would have liked to answer, right, and not have that filled in, because now it's they're bringing back someone for their age 34 and 35 season who's going to be stuck in the middle six somewhere. And again, I hope he puts up 25 goals the next 2 years and is fine. That's great. But everyone talks about, the Islanders have this need to retool. It's been the same group. They haven't been able to get over the hump. They can't get it done. And they're keeping a lot of the same guys, it feels like.
Yeah, it was like Kyle Palmieri being one of them. And he's a fine player. I don't mind actually having Kyle Palmieri in and of himself. To me, it really comes down to the new GM is not able to ice the team he wants to ice. Maybe he wants to keep Kyle Palmieri, but he doesn't get to sign him to the contract he wants to sign him to. Why is the past GM putting players in place for the future GM? That makes no goddamn sense at all.
Yeah, and we were saying this too on that day, but it rings true even now. Why did the ownership let him operate at that level? Like, you can't have a lame duck GM signing guys in both the front office and for this team, for whoever you're going to hire next.
Yeah, I kept thinking about that for days as well. And it kept coming back to me like they didn't actually fire him, right? They just said, we're going to let your contract expire and we're not going to re-sign you. It was basically, thank you for your service. We liked everything you wanted to do, but we're going to do this in the most, feckless way possible. We're not firing you. We're not saying that you're guilty of doing anything wrong. In the roundabout way of doing it. They didn't fire him, right? They just let his contract end. And so I think by going in that route, he wasn't a lame duck. He was the guy in the job, and they're just like, okay, well, when you're done, we're going to go to someone else. But you're not a lame duck, which to you and me, he very much is. But to them, that's not the decision they were making.
It's hard to compute for me. I'm having a hard time getting that.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.